It's dorky, but I think it's cool. And then he smiles, and for a while I'm in love.
Hi, and welcome to episode 13 of River's Knitting Chronicles. I'm River, in case you haven't figured that part out yet, and welcome to the show. This one is going to be the most off the cuff, so it might be rambly and it might get long, but I doubt it. I don't have any show notes because I only have one piece of knitting to show. So 2 weeks in a row, so I'm really proud of myself for that. I did get some knitting done this week, and as far as sock sniper, which I keep wanting to say snock sniper, and it's sock sniper, as far as sock sniper goes, I am still alive and kicking. My first sock is not finished, but I actually think for what my schedule is, I've gotten a good bit done. So I'm going to start off with, I'm going to show you that, and then I might ramble some, and I'll just tell you, okay, knitting is done, because knitting will be done after this sock. The pattern I selected is the pattern called Mila. It is by Belly Button Knits. When I started on the pattern in the Sock Sniper, if you're not part of Sock Sniper and you just like the pattern enough, I haven't double-checked that it's been, I'm assuming that they would fix it, but there was a bit of errata that got put in the Sock Sniper thread, in the Sock Sniper group at the Mila thread. And so that was for the patterning on the heel. It works fine the other way, but it doesn't work as intended the way in the original pattern. I'm pretty sure she's updated it, but because we all were itching to go, they put the corrected. There were places where there was calling for a purl that was supposed to be a knit, I think, is what happened. So double check that it's the correct pattern. You might want to go on the Sock Sniper group in the Mila, I think it's called Mila Help thread, and right at the very, it's not even in a post, it's in the header. Double check that your instructions match up to get the heel pattern that you wish. So I'm recording right now. I had thought about recording later, and I thought about recording earlier, but I'm recording right now because I'm to the place where I'm about to pick up the stitches for the gusset, and that's not a place where I want to be thinking about anything else or moving around or bagging it back up. Gussets are tough for, I think they're probably tough for everybody, but if they're tough for you, know that this boat is large and you are welcome to join me in it, because I have a tough time picking up gusset stitches and making them look nice and the way I see other people's on Ravelry. I've watched YouTube videos, I've read all sorts of tips and tricks, and it's still really hard for me. As I was getting to here, this is the part where I was like, oh, I'm making socks for someone else, which means I have to do gusset for someone else, and what if it's not good enough for them, and they complain that I did a bad job. That will really hurt my feelings. I don't know. I guess if I do a bad job, I'm going to do the best job that I can, though. I promise you that. So, without further ado, here's my yarn. It is, this might make me fuzzy again. It is Madeline Tosh Sock. The color is called Fathom. It's gorgeous. It's got all sorts of deepy blues. The ladies at the yarn store thought it looked Tardisy. I think it's a bit dark for Tardisy blue, but sometimes the Tardis looks a bit darker. And so here we go. Here, it's going to be hard to see the patterning, and tough for me to knit it too. So, so here we go. So here's the cuff, and there were 2 sets of instructions, one for making this ruffly bit and one for just doing the straight cuff. I was very brave on this first sock and did the ruffly bit. And then here's the patterning in the leg, and I think it looks so pretty. Let me see if I can get it to where you can really. So as you can see, it's not difficult, with the exception of that it's supposed to line up, so that makes it, you have to be a little bit more careful. I am a big fan of things with yarn that's just, or with lace that's just kind of all over the place, and so everything just looks like a design feature. This, you got to line up, so you got to make sure that you get all your yarn overs where they need to be. And then here is my heel flap per the directions, and it called for For Sock Sniper, we had to do at least 7. This is also a part where I was like, if I were making these for me, I wouldn't have done 7 repeats. I like my socks snug. I don't like a lot of fabric at the back of the heel. And my person has the same size foot as me, so I almost stopped a few repeats ago, but I double checked on the Sock Sniper thread and it said that it had to be at least 7, and you can't, it's only a 4-row repeat, you can't end at row 4, so I have to do either 1 or 3 more at the least. So I might go to 3, we'll see. But that's where I am, and then I pick up the gusset stitches. Like I said, I've read lots of tutorials, I've watched lots of YouTube videos. It's just one of those things that I know I'll get better the more I knit socks. I'm just nervous that I'm knitting these for someone who's not me and might not do a good job. But here we go. I think it's lovely, lovely, lovely. I think it would have been, the pattern would have been able to show off more had I used not quite so dark yarn. But I think they're going to be pretty. And looking at my receiver's page, she has my targets page, she has a lot of blues and greens. So I think they're in her color palette that she enjoys. She has already finished. There are people dying because of how slow a knitter I am. And to those folks, I apologize. And I really hope she's not allergic to cats. To those people, I apologize that I am so slow. I'm doing the best that I can. And so she gets to take some folks out before I get her taken out. My plan, excuse me. Sorry if you were wearing headphones for that. My plan is to get the first one. My plan was to get them finished. The first one finished by the end of today, so that if I died tomorrow when I got the mail, someone wouldn't have to pick up and knit on the same sock. They could just take sock number 1 and then knit sock number 2. So I'm nervous. I don't think I'll get there quite. I'm going to pick up the gusset and start going. Feet go much faster. And like I said, she has the exact same foot size as mine, exact same measurements, and likes to wear her socks snug, at which I do as well. So I'm at least confident that I can get the foot to be, since it's to fit, I can get it where it's comfy for me. I think will be comfy for her, and feet tend to go a little bit faster because you're only patterning on the top, not on the sole of the foot. So that's my knitting content for right now. And if you're hearing the blings, Kyra is Facebooking me. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry for that. She's Facebooking me. I'll respond to her in a little bit. So, anyway, that's pretty much the knitting content. The other main thing that's on my needles right now that I'm hoping to be able to work on soon is Kyra's birthday present. And I haven't touched it since the little bit of knitting time I've had has been with the Sock Sniper socks. So I'm not going to show that because I don't want to have to deal with making her not look while that's coming up. Her birthday is on Tuesday, so they are no longer a birthday present for her, or her gift is no longer for her birthday, put it that way, because these socks are not for her. Her gift is no longer for her birthday. Her gift is going to be either a because I love you and I finished this for you gift, or if it's all the way to December before I get done, it will be an additional Christmas gift. I have in the past given her a yarn and a promise, and I don't want to do that for her birthday. So what happened? Oh, knitting part is over. So if you want to go, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the socks. Sock, singular, and we'll see you next time. Okay, so we went to today. Her birthday is on Tuesday. Saturday night she met up with some friends and had her college girl birthday stuff. And so today she and I went and we had lunch at Moe's, which is, if you don't have a Moe's, I feel bad for you. It's actually really good fast food Mexican. Like if Taco Bell were made to order and really, really good, then that would be Moe's. So we went and we had Moe's. And then we went shopping, because that's what we do. And we went to Ulta, and it's 21 Days of Beauty right now. It's the first day of 21 Days of Beauty. And going through the catalog, I'm not turning this into a beauty by any means, don't worry about that, but just to try to sum it up. So a lot of my thing with makeup is, if I can find it and it works in the drugstore lines, that it costs less and I can get more of it. So that's what I do. Skincare, I go more high end. But anyway, so that was that fast. So the one thing I was looking for were the NYX different colored eyeliners, because I like to do different colors on the bottoms. And of course, it was completely picked over before we got there. And it just started today, and they're on sale, BOGO 50%. So I had this whole list of colors that I wanted to pick up, and of course most of them were not in, and the rest of them were a mess, and some you could tell had been opened, and people had been like swatching on themselves, and so that was disappointing. But other than that, we had a really good time, and I don't think either of us got nail polish, which is interesting because she's knocking on 100 bottles right now. If she's not there, she's close. She's stopped counting. She's like, I have 90 something. I'm not sure anymore. 90 something. So she might be over 100 at this point. But for her birthday, I got her one of the Urban Decay palettes, not the Naked, because she's already got so many neutrals from other palettes. But I got her the Ammo palette, which has some of the older, more colors that were popular for a long time that they're kind of known for. Like the Mildew color is in there, and it doesn't look like mildew. It's actually a really pretty deep foresty green kind of color and stuff like that. So they had that, and it came with a primer potion, and it came with an eyeshadow brush, and so that's what she's into. And so I got her that, and I got her one color of the OPI San Francisco, the second darkest, because she didn't like the full darkest, the second darkest red in the OPI San Francisco collection nail polish. So she did get nail polish, but she didn't buy any at Ulta. So we went to Ulta and had a grand old time, and it was pretty full for being, I guess because it was the beginning of the 21 Days of Beauty. So we went there. We stopped by CVS, and she got some. Actually, I did too. We both got a little bit of Halloween. I know it's early, but we're afraid stuff's going to sell out. So we got some. They had some special displays of Halloween makeup. My plan, as of right now, and every year I make big plans, and every year October is always the tightest month of the year for us because they start taking out my insurance and my union, and they don't yet give me any of my supplement for doing theater, so it's like the tiniest check of the 12 months. But every year I make these big plans for what I'm going to do in October and for Halloween, and yeah, I never follow through. So my plan is to follow through this year. So I bought some stuff ahead when I had a little more wiggle room. But my plan is I'm going to do Hunger Games, and I'm going to do Capital Citizen. So there's other really bright. There's a lot of really bright makeup out there, and it's something that, because I'm not any specific character, I can just kind of go crazy and have fun and, hit thrift stores and Goodwill and see what I can put together, and then just wear really crazy makeup. And so my plan is to have like a signature color, which is going to be, what color can I find an outfit that's all hot pink or it's all blue, and then I can do makeup and get a silly wig, or depends on the color of my hair. My hair doesn't color very easily because it's so dark. But that kind of thing. And I think it'll be fun. At work, they tend to pick a theme and they want everyone to do the same theme. And I had already made up my mind. So when they were asking for themes, I tried my hardest to get everyone to agree to my theme. And they didn't. But I've already made my plans. So I'm not trying to be a party pooper, but I'm not going to buy a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to buy 2 sets of Halloween stuff when oftentimes I get kind of crunched for money and can't do one. So I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to have fun, and I think it'll be great. Yeah, so let's see. That's pretty much the week. We started rehearsals on my fall show, and my cast is incredible. My girlies are wonderful. I've got a really great group to work with. For this to be such a tough year, I knew that I needed a show where the opportunity, because I'm not going to cast a show just because I like kids. My favorite kid didn't get cast. I don't know. She's got something going on with her. She's not quite sure what's going on, but she auditioned and then I called her back, and she did poorly on the callback as well. And we talked, and she said, I don't know what's up with me. There's something going on. I said, yeah, you got to fix it if you're going to start auditioning for colleges because you're going to work. And she gets it. So, but I was able to, the kids who did the best were kids that I really wanted to get to work with, which was amazing. And so we're already 1 week into rehearsals. Yesterday we had our first set build. We've already got the majority of the walls up, which is really amazing for us. We're turning into a well-oiled machine when it comes to, it was like a barn raising that just whoosh, they're up there. This set's going to take it's a lot of detail work more than just the walls, but having that already up, it just seems like, wow, we're really going to get moving with this one. So that's exciting. We've already got the window for the kitchen window up. Like, it's pretty cool. We had a company had rented our theater space over the summer. The school handles that. I have nothing to do with it. And this is more of me stepping back and letting the people who get paid to do the stuff they're supposed to do. And sometimes it bites me, but it's still better that I do it this way so that they understand how much I've been taking on prior to this year. Companies would rent it and they'd email me and want me to walk them through it and want me to, sometimes I wouldn't be there. But I would get them in touch with students who knew the way our system worked and things like that, and they hired them to work with them and stuff like that. So, but as of last year when I realized someone was getting paid to do that job was not doing the job, I was doing it and they were getting money, really bugged me. So when the companies would email me and say, can you do this, can you do that, I would say, you need to get in touch with the contact in your contract because I'm not involved with the rentals. So, sorry, short story long. They rented the space and we came back from summer, and this was another part of the big stress that was on me. Our light board was, this is going to sound technical, the light board, which is a lot of technical stuff, was completely detached from everything. It wasn't hooked up to, it was sitting against a wall in the room where it lives. Every single light was taken down from over the stage, and I didn't know where they were. They were just gone. There was no light. So we did that first week of rehearsals in my room because I really wanted them to get the people who rented it to put it back. It was in their contract that they're supposed to return it in the state that they rented it in, and they did not do that. And of course that didn't happen. So, but I didn't redo the whole, it's called a lighting plot. I didn't rehang the whole thing. I put a couple of instruments that create more floodlight up. And I did manage to reinstall the entire board, which was awesome. I'd never done that before. The board that we have was antiquated when I was in college, and so it's ancient. It's nothing I'd learned on before. I had to learn by doing with the one we have. But I got it all hooked up, and I got it working, which was awesome. And so I've got just enough instruments up there that I can rehearse, and then they're supposed to be dealing with the people who rented it, and hopefully they will come back and fix everything else at a time that is not inconvenient for me and my cast. So that was a good kind of, that's one of the stressors that I had on me that's off now, that there is now the ability to have light. We now have some light up there. The board is now hooked up and working, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's nice. So yeah, some good stuff. My students are settling in. I think they're starting to get me. I'm that quirky, weird teacher, but I also expect them to work really hard, and they're getting that. And for the most part, they're starting to work, or they've already stopped attending. At least I've got a few who just don't come to school in time to make it to my class, and so there's nothing I can do about that. I can call home and contact attendance, which I've done. And so that's an on them life lesson for them to learn. So hopefully they'll be getting that. I don't think anything else is really going on in my life. Cats are good. I'm good. Sometimes I only knit a row or two. Sometimes I don't get to knit at all. There were a few nights that I knit a whole pattern repeat in that sock, but it's just kind of a one day at a time, counting it down, trying to stay in a positive place. And this was a better week. So I'm really happy about that. And I think I have rambled long enough. I can't think of anything else you might want to know. So 20 minutes. I think that's enough of a show for today. Sorry that it's lighter on knitting. It's going to be this way for a while. And thank you to everyone who last week sent me such really nice positive messages and posted nice things in the group. We did lose some group members, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to be... I worried. Every time I would watch like a hawk the number of group members, and every time it fell by one, I'd try to figure out who it was and what I could have done and why they would be so upset with me or not like me enough to... or not like the show enough to stay watching, and that's another one of those things that I just mentally had to put it aside, and I'm not going to be everything for everybody. Completely get that, completely okay with it, and I hope you are enjoying and I hope if you are interested, you will join the group. We're 4 members away from 100, which I think is exciting, but I'm trying not to put too much emphasis mentally in my head on that, but still, it's nice, and I hope you're liking it, and it's all great. And if there's anything you want to hear about, feel free to put it in a thread, PM me. Some people said you were perfectly fine with me just talking about my life, and so I did some of that. I know that there's a whole group of people who do this whole Stuff You Hate in podcasts, and people doing what I did today is a big old no-no over there. So, can't please everybody, but that's the kind of content that I have, so that's what we got. And I hope it's okay, and I hope you enjoyed the show. The group is on Ravelry, riversknittingchronicles.com. I've also put this up on YouTube. The last one I was very late putting up on YouTube, so it's going to look like these are back-to-back, but that one was a week ago, actually. So YouTube, the YouTube channel is Rivers Knitting Chronicles, and I think that's it. So thanks for sticking around and watching. I really appreciate it. And maybe I'll see you next week. It depends kind of on how the build goes and how these socks go, and if I'm still alive to see another weekend. Okay. Thanks for hanging out. Okay.
I have a crush on a boy named Samson. He doesn't know who I am, and he's got thick brown hair, blue eyes that stare into your soul.